Hello, I am Jason. What is going on? Ever notice how some fight feels impossible while others feel easy? Same aim, same game, but one fight feels completely different from the other. A lot of players assume winning fight is just mechanics. We spend time improving aim, movement, and learning game specific mechanics, and all these skills are crucial. You need all of them, but another key skill people tend to ignore, and I like to call it fight sense, understanding when to push, when to hold, and when to fall back. Because in team games, a lot of fights are won or lost before you even get the chance to fully apply those learned mechanical skills. Winning fights is really about understanding what kind of fights you are taking. Do you have advantage? Is the fight equal? Or are you at a disadvantage? You see this happen all the time. Someone jumps into a clearly disadvantageous fight, dies instantly, then realizes their team wasn't there yet. Maybe the team was still rotating. Maybe they were weak. Maybe they couldn't even fight yet. But the fight was taken anyway. Here is an example from one of my Apex Legends game. We clearly had an advantage over this team, but our GB got caught out in the open and went down. I did enough damage to put us in a winning position, but Rev got revived, my other teammate was weak, and without really noticing it, I pushed alone. I managed to down their GB, but I instantly got punished by Revenant because I put myself in a disadvantageous position. We got lucky and managed to reset. Another example from Overwatch. I moved too far ahead of my tank, and the moment Zarya noticed I was isolated, she immediately collapsed on me. And then there is the opposite problem. People become too passive. I had this problem too. And honestly, I still do if I don't keep it in check. I become too careful and end up watching my team lose fights while I'm sitting there hesitating. They never push, never pressure, never take opportunities. So now they are losing fights they actually could have won. That's the important part. Good players aren't always aggressive, they aren't always passive either. They adjust based on the situation. If your team has advantage, you push. Maybe an enemy is isolated. Maybe your team has numbers. Maybe someone is weak. You push because the odds are in your favor. If the fight is equal, you hold your ground carefully because even fights can still tilt either way. And if your team is at a disadvantage, you fall back and reposition. One thing I like doing while falling back is turning around and getting free shots while enemies are overcommitting and chasing too hard. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But the point is, you are still thinking about the state of the fight. One of the fastest ways to lose fight in team games is isolation. If enemy sees someone alone, they collapse immediately. And unless your character has tools to escape, you usually get overwhelmed very quickly. Some characters can temporarily break positioning rules. A Wraith, Pathfinder, or Axel in Apex can take more aggressive angles because they have abilities to back out safely. Tracer can pressure deeper because she has mobility and recall. But even then, those plays still rely on awareness and timing. That's controlled risk, not blind aggression. A simple way to build better fight sense is to constantly check three things. Where are you? Where is your team? And where is the enemy? And over time, you start recognizing what fights actually make sense to take. And a simple way to speed this up is to ask one question before committing. Is the fight worth taking? That one question changes everything because now you stop fighting automatically just because you saw someone. You start reading the situation first, and once you start doing that, fights feel calmer. Your decisions become clearer. You stop forcing bad situations, and the fight starts feeling more controllable instead of chaotic. You don't win fights by taking more fights, you win by taking better ones. So, next time you see an enemy, don't just think about shooting. Think about the fights you are actually taking. There is a lot to consider here, and it's hard to cover everything in just one video. I'll try to cover a few more key ideas related to this in the near future. If you want to discuss this further, you can join the Discord. I'm active there. If you found this helpful, consider subscribing. There is a lot more coming. Peace.